In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Caleb Agada and his basketball shooting form. He just recently dropped 17 points on Team USA, going 3 for 3 from the three-point line, and it just so happens that it's a player that I used to teach basketball to. So congratulations to Caleb Agada. I hope that you do really well this summer in the Olympics as well as with the Denver Nuggets and their summer league camp. Let's get down. Let's check out Caleb Agada. So one thing that Caleb is extremely good at doing is moving without the basketball. I've gone over a lot of his footage, and of course this is how he gets a lot of his open shots. So of course here, when he grabs that ball, he actually gathers it on his right foot. He then pivots to his left and goes left-right. Now, I know that some referees out there may call this a travel, but just really quickly, there's a referee right there. No travel call. So when he gets that ball, he likes to step into his shot. You're going to see this. He either likes to jump stop, landing on both feet at the same time, or stepping in with his right foot. From there, we see that he is slightly tilted away from the rim, and his shoulders, we can see from this angle slightly, but there's other better angles I'm about to show you anyways, but his shoulders are over top of his knees and toes. From there, he gathers that ball at his waist, and as we can see, there is really no dip. When he's dipping his body, he's actually rising or raising that ball up into its set point. One part of his shot that actually kind of confuses me, because there's not really a thumb flick, and you'll usually see this with a thumb flick, is that his elbow is actually out towards the right of the basketball net. You actually don't see his shoulder and elbow in line with the basketball net. Now, usually what will happen is with players who shoot like this, their elbow will start coming in when they're going up for their shot and they have a slight thumb flick. However, we don't see this with Caleb. And I can tell you right now that it's most likely coming off of a split finger style release between his middle and, of course, ring finger. There is no good footage of a close-up, so I can't say this for sure, but usually that's what it is. However, when he goes up for his shot, he does tend to have a two-motion shot. He does tend to slightly pause at his forehead, and that is most likely because he has a lot of upper body strength. We can see from photos and everything like that, his arms are extremely toned, extremely large, which means that he is a very strong player, and I am, of course, going to do a further breakdown of his game coming up very soon. However, that is something to really take into aspect. If you're having an issue with that ball flying over the rim and you've got a one-motion shot, try to go to a two-motion shot. It just means that you're very strong, and a two-motion shot will take some power off of your shot. Now, when he does release this ball, he releases it right at the, I'm going to call the apex, but basically right at the top of his jump. And when he does release that ball, his elbow is above his forehead, which will allow that ball to have a lot of arc. We can also see from this angle, even though it was a rushed shot, we can see that he has a soft release, which there's two types of releases. There's one that your wrist is straight down. There's also the one where your hand and your wrist is slightly curved like this. That soft release will give him extra arc, which of course will help when he's got a defender who is closing out onto him. Even when he comes from the dribble into his gather, we can see in this clip that he's able to also be a very proficient shooter when stepping in with the left foot. Many players are unable to do that, and of course Caleb is able to do so. So this is what I really like to explain to everybody in other videos you've seen, as well as with, of course, a lot of my clients. I also get them to be able to do jump stops, step in with their right, and then step in with their left, being able to have multiple different types of footwork so that no matter what position or situation that you're in, you're able to make that shot. Now, when he goes and gathers here, we can see that quite quick hesitation that creates that space between himself and his defender. When he gathers that ball, he doesn't dip that ball. Some players will, and of course, that's okay to do so. It's almost like a golf swing. However, if you can go straight into your shot and bring that ball up from the gather without dipping, you're going to be able to get that shot off fast enough so that, or at least a lot faster anyways, because of course, especially if you're being guarded by a defender. Now, something that Caleb does quite a bit is his jumping forward. Now, here we do see that he lands split foot. Personally, at the FIBA level, if I was him, I would be kind of worried about having a step go forward like this, mainly because if there was a defender who was closing out when you're in the air, instead of trying to block your shot, they were trying to get their foot underneath yours, and you step forward like that, that may cause injuries to yourself. There are a few players at the FIBA level who do tend to do that, so of course if that was me, I would definitely be watching out to not do that. We see him here also jumping forward with his right foot, just not as far as he was before. Of course, he was not dribbling into this shot, he was receiving a pass. But again, it is something to really be careful about. If you start hitting 4, 5, 6 threes, and you start having a defender who is kind of cheap, somebody like Delabadova from Australia, he may just stick his foot underneath Caleb's, or at least anyone's foot in that matter. So that is something that I would really try to stop doing, but again, it is part of his shooting form, and I wouldn't want to mess with a shooting form when it's as efficient as his. Anyways, I hope that this video has helped you be able to shoot the basketball better. Again, congratulations, Caleb. I know that you put in a ton of work to get to where you're at, so congratulations. I hope everyone's enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.